Here's a visual that might help you think about how to construct claim sentences that utilize both terms from a tension spectrum. So let's visually imagine a tension spectrum. Let's just hypothetically use racial hierarchy and racial equality and set up kind of this spectrum between the two ideas. Now, it very well might be that the passage you've chosen is just 100% representative of racial hierarchy. It emphasizes racial hierarchy, it promotes racial hierarchy, it endorses, it celebrates, whatever cool verb you want to use, it's all on that side. Or let's say you have a passage that's all on the racial equality side. It promotes racial equality, it argues for racial equality, it condones racial equality, it promotes whatever, right? All those kind of verbs. Those are the easy ones. When a passage falls on one end or the other, it's a pretty easy claim to write. Where it gets complicated is when we have a mix. Let's say a passage is mostly racial hierarchy, but has some language that points to racial equality. We might put it somewhere here on the spectrum, and then we would want a sentence that sort of captures that mix, predominantly endorsing racial hierarchy, but also introducing ideals of racial equality. Or on the other end of the spectrum, we might have something that we see as predominantly an example of racial equality, but has some hints of lingering vestiges of racial hierarchy in it. So we don't want to put it all the way down here. Instead, we put it up here, and we're going to have language that reflects that. It's mostly emphasizing equality, but there are traces of racial hierarchy there. So that's a way we can think about the spectrum as not necessarily one or the other, but some kind of mix of the both. You could also imagine a passage where you saw them more balanced, and you might use a verb that balances ideas of racial hierarchy and racial equality, something where you see kind of both things equally in the passage. So your claim can be sort of anywhere on this spectrum, one end or the other end, or predominantly one end but a mix from the other side, predominantly one end but the mix from the other side, something balanced in the middle. It's not an either or, it's not a binary, it's a spectrum, and you can see mixed messages in a passage. In fact, many of you have chosen very cool passages that have exactly this mixed message element to them, and that's what actually makes them more interesting rather than less. So I hope this visual helps you think about it. We'll revisit this again when we're drafting our thesis, because we're going to look at the same spectrum, and then we're going to look at the 4 passages we actually chose and see where we can situate them. So we'll be back to this kind of visual later. Hopefully this helps a little bit. If not, sorry, just trying different ways to help people out. Okay, see you in Canvas.